It's good to be back, my friends. Back to die on this hill.
I have to be honest. Like, I know when the first time we did this, we were like, this music's just gonna be kind of filler. But now I kind of like sit here and like rock my head back and forth. I'm like, all right. Like, it kind of puts you in that good mood before you get started for the show. Not that I need help. Like, obviously excited to be here, but I mean, just
get you moving. Gets the shoulders, rolling a little bit.
It just puts a smile on your face, and you say, let's get ready to die on this hill.
Die on this hill.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to get old to me. I am a child at heart, so I am rocking and rolling with that, my friend. And I know I had to take a little hiatus last week on you, so I do apologize for missing. Atlantic City decided to take a nice little chunk of change out of my pocket. So
that's what it's designed to do, though. Listen, to be honest, if you come home even, it's a win.
Oh yeah.
Like anytime you go to Vegas, you go to AC. You go anywhere to a casino, if you leave the casino even, that's a win. Everything else is a bonus.
It's almost like, to kind of put a sports twist, right? Like they always say for a wide receiver, right? Like if I'm even, I'm leaving. If you're leaving and you're even, you got a smile on your face from when it comes to gambling. I sadly can't say that, but what I can say is that...
what's your game of choice?
I'm a blackjack guy.
Blackjack?
Yeah, I'm a blackjack guy. Dad taught me how to play it, and like I always wanted to learn craps. But the one time I went with somebody that like really knew how to play, we both bought in for like I want to say like $200. We were at Mount Airy Casino out in Pennsylvania, and we each bought in for $200, and somebody was rolling, or it was a new roller. Dude, I lost $200. We both lost our $200 before he could teach me one thing about playing craps.
Ouch.
So I just never went back to a craps table.
You want to start a lower limit table then?
Well, it was a Saturday night, so I mean, there, 200,
25.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 25 is your minimum. So I mean, that's what 8 rolls at your bare minimum, and I mean, you go to win big. Like, I mean, my dad always said, don't sit down at the table if you're not willing to lose the money. So you go in and you win, you lose big, and that's the only way you also win big. Nobody won big by betting the bare minimum every hand. So is what it is. Overall, I survived. Me and the girlfriend had a great time, and great anniversary and.
Good food at least?
Oh, yeah. No, we went out for a real nice dinner on Saturday night, just me and her. Friday night, we went out for a nice dinner with her girlfriend and her girlfriend's husband. I don't know. I don't know. She did all this stuff. We were over so the one place we went to was in the Ocean Casino and Hotel. I don't know what the name of it was. And then where we went Saturday was like Il Verdi or Verdi Il or something like that. Really nice restaurant. They hooked us up. The waiter was real cool. He brought a piece of chocolate cake with a little happy anniversary and a candle on it. And the thing they wrote happy anniversary on was also a piece of chocolate. So it was cute, man. We split a bottle of wine. She had some flounder franchise. I never even had flounder before. I took a bite. It was actually really good. And I got myself some bolognese. So I had a nice, happy stomach. And but the other restaurant I don't remember because by the time I got there, I was like 6 hours into drinking. So
all right. Hey,
number one focus was a glass of water and not falling. As long as I cover those two bases, dinner was a success.
Last time I went down was for my in-laws' 45th anniversary. And we went to Carmine's. So I know you can go to Carmine's in New York, but we went to Carmine's. It was down in the Trop in Atlantic City. Really nice. Really
that's where we stayed.
Oh.
So we stayed at the Trop.
Yeah.
So we ate at the burger joint across that little section right there. We ate at we had lunch at the burger joint on Thursday. But yeah, no. I mean, it would have been nice if it was, 80 degrees and sunny and could enjoy the boardwalk and the beach and all that.
Quieter now, though. Quieter.
I know.
That's the beauty of going down there now. Is quieter.
Yeah, we were down. What made us go was she had a field hockey conference. She coaches field hockey at the Hills. So she had her field hockey conference. So we went to that, and then she went to that. I worked from the hotel room. Which can I tell you, nothing more just disappointing than having to put in an 8-hour workday in a hotel room when you have free booze and gambling downstairs. Like that was the longest 8-hour day I worked, and it wasn't a bad day. It was just a long. I'm like, it hit 4 o'clock. I'm like, screw this. I'm opening a beer. So finished the workday with a beer in my hand, and for anybody I work with, you didn't hear that. So yeah, but it was a good trip, man. But I do apologize.
Awesome. No, glad to have you back. Glad to have you back, and glad to be back for the Super Bowl. So I mean, you missed a fun little show me and Eric did last week. Prop bets, Taylor Swift, dad bods, we touched on a lot of different things. Prop bets are always fun, me, national anthem, coin toss, Gatorade color, a whole bunch of other T-Swift ones, because why not? The Swifties are going to run the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome. And, yeah, so, I mean, you got any, I'll start there before we dive right into this game, but do you got any prop bets you're looking forward to? Anything grab your eye?
Talked about this last night on the This Is Sports Zone podcast with Mike. Shout out to Mike Aguilera. And the one that, like, he read through a bunch of them, and we whizzed through them, right? We were just having fun with it. We whizzed through them. But I couldn't believe the one that, whatever website he was on, I couldn't believe the one, that site didn't include Gatorade color. And I was like shocked by that, because I'm like, I feel like that was like the original prop bet. Like, I feel like that and the coin toss and the length of the national anthem were like the 3 original prop bets.
You can get the Gatorade color on DraftKings, by the way. Like, I was looking at
that's what I mean. It's one of the originals. It's like an
popular.
OG prop bet, right? So I couldn't believe whatever site, I didn't even ask him, but whatever site he was on, I could not believe that Gatorade. So I'm like, Mike, we got to guess the Gatorade color. Like, what color do you think the Gatorade's going to be? My man came out of left field with green.
Okay.
Like, like that green to me be like plus 2,500. Like the Cowboys having a chance to actually win a Super Bowl type of, like, that's the odds.
Those are long odds. I don't know if I'm going to push it that far. I can give you the DraftKings live, though, but I'm going to say, I thought you were going to say, because the one that's actually the furthest odds is nothing, like clear nothing.
Oh, okay. So it's either water or clear Gatorade, because they do have a clear Gatorade now.
No, like nothing, like no Gatorade, no bath at all.
Really?
I think it's like plus 4,000.
Okay, see that I could see being further out than green. That I won't argue with. I can see that being further out than green. But when he hit me with that one, I went with orange. And I went with orange because it's Amanda's favorite Gatorade. So I'm like, you know what? Well, let's put the bet on her. And obviously, for those that know me, I'm not betting anything anyway. So I am just not a gambling man. Main reason for anybody that's wondering is because if I win, I won't stop. And then I'll lose and I'll get mad. And then I'll bet again. And if I lose again, I'll get really mad. And at some point, I'll be flat broke and a very angry person. And I don't want to live my life that way. So I just don't dip my toe in the water. I just stay back and root for those that I'm friends with that do put money down. Unless they bet against my Cowboys, then I'm rooting against them. And that's just, I think, fair. I would hope they would expect that from me. So I'll say that much. But yeah, the gambling side, I got a buddy of mine. I won't say his name so nobody goes asking him for money. But I got a buddy of mine that gambles mainly during football season. But occasionally throws in some, parlays with baseball season or basketball, like, one of those two. He doesn't really bet on hockey, but he parlays on baseball, things like that. I think it was 2022. My man won over $14,000 that year when he got the tax docs from the betting website that he uses. So
damn.
I was like, so overall, you had a good freaking year. I mean, basically an extra, $1,100, $1,000 a month. But all right, so it looks like you found it.
I found it. Not only did I find it, but you were so far off on green.
Oh boy.
So purple's the favorite at plus 225.
Okay. Remember, for those that don't remember, I had green at plus 2500.
Yellow/green plus 300.
Oh, no. Yellow and green Gator. Really? Yep. How are you going to put them in the same category?
DraftKings has yellow/green for 300. They have orange for plus 300.
Okay, so
blue plus 350, red plus 350, clear plus 1,000. So the clear, the white, like you were talking about. If you listen to the podcast, I've had a little problem talking about the white color Gatorade.
I'm sure he did, knowing that dirty-minded man.
And Love then the no Gatorade bath is plus 1,600 right now.
So when you
and there have been times I've looked this up. Go back and listen to the last 2 podcasts ago with the prop bets. I did go through. There are times where there was no Gatorade bath.
So no bath at all. It wasn't no bath at all. Nothing. Zero zilch.
No water,
nobody squirted water bottles at him. Nothing.
I think it's happened more than at least 4 times. I believe
there are 2 things that to me coincide with the ending of the Super Bowl: the Gatorade bath and the I'm going to Disney. I'm sorry, like. A Super Bowl to me really can't actually be over unless those 2 things happen.
Who's going to say, I'm going to Disney? Is it going to be Kelsey or is it going to be Mahomes?
It's going to be Christian McCaffrey.
All right. So that's showing some leanings already.
Oh, yeah.
We're not getting there yet, but we're showing some leanings.
I can't wait because
Or is it going to be T Swift in the booth? They're just going to pan up to her and I can't wait to go to Disneyland with my man.
When we talk about who I'm picking, which obviously the answer's already been given away, but when we actually dive into why we're making our picks, if you don't catch something that has happened, I really feel like you're gonna laugh your ass off at me when I point it out when we get to that section. But I mean, look, I like I said, orange is the color I'm going with for Amanda. Plus 300. So like, if I put $20 down, what's that? Winning 320.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like gambling. That's the other thing. Gambling.
Yeah. So if you put in 100, you win 3 or whatever.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So you got it. Okay. I mean, now I'm just disappointed about the idea that there might not be a Gatorade bath. That just really, you might have to play the music, the intro music again, just to make me smile.
And you want to touch?
Or do you want to touch?
Okay, that'll work too.
Yeah, so that those are always fun ones. I don't know. Did you hear the over-under on the national anthem? 90.5 is where we set the bar.
Yeah.
What do you think? Over-under?
I took the over. And I don't think it's going to be by much, but I am taking the over.
Ouch. I think you're going to be wrong. I think it's going to come in just
Reba McEntire singing, right? Like, so, like, you got to figure she's not going to be, like, really trying to carry all those notes. Like, I think she's going to do a good job. The woman's always had a nice voice. But
in 97 at the World Series, did in 83 seconds.
Oh, wow. So we got actual statistics to go back on.
She's also had, I believe, one at 78, one at 81, another one at like 83. So I feel like she's like right in that ballpark where she used to be. A little bit of age. I think maybe carries it a little bit further, but I can't see it going another 4, 5, 6 seconds long. You'd have to go more than 7 seconds longer than she did in the World Series, and I just don't know if she's that type of singer. She's not a run type of singer. She's not Christina Aguilera. She's not gonna run. She doesn't have runs for days.
And I'm sure the vocal cords are a little more tired than as the years go by. I mean, I would love to say I talk less than when I was younger, but I just don't shut up. So. You're welcome to everybody out there listening for that one. But all right. Yeah, no, I took the over. I don't know. I just feel like, no disrespect to the World Series, but there's at bare minimum 4 people that sing the national anthem for the World Series. So there's only one person that sings for the national anthem for the Super Bowl every year. So, I mean, I'm just saying, think about it, right? World Series goes, as a sweep. You still have 4 different people singing the national anthem. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like it carries the same weight as the Super Bowl does. So she might. I'm going with the over, not by much though. Like I'd say 91, 92.
All right. So getting more into game mode here.
Okay. There's a game. That's right.
That's right. I mean, it's not just a halftime and a Taylor Swift show. It's there's a game. There's like 18 minutes of football somewhere to be played in this 4-hour spectacle.
Oh, my mom is amped, by the way, for Usher. Oh my God, my mom. So I took my mom to an Usher concert for her birthday one year. My mom loves Usher. She can literally rap every word to Ludacris's verse on "Yeah" at the end of the song, like all the way to the bend over and touch your toes, like want a lady in the street and the freak of the bed. First time I heard my mom rap that song, I almost pissed my pants laughing. But She loves Usher. She's like so excited for that. So shout out to Mom.
I said yeah.
I bet you. So that would be a good prop bet. What song does Usher?
Well, no, they do. They have that.
They
so
have that one.
We did it on the show. I believe that came in at the top odds, and then I couldn't name the others. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Usher fan. Eric was able to name a few more. Was into a few more. He had some. So I would tell your mom to go listen to our prop bet one from last week. I'm telling you, she would enjoy it because we get into some Usher stuff. We also talk about who's most likely to come on stage with him, whether it be Alicia Keys, Lil Jon, Luda, even Taylor Swift. I believe the odds were like plus 550 for Taylor Swift. I mean, it had odds for tons of people. So we went through a bunch of that. So it was a lot of fun. So,
and she'll probably be more motivated because she won't have to listen to me talk. She gets enough. Yeah, it'll
be
that
two
in her
other
life.
people.
She'll be like, oh, thank God, I don't got to listen to my own son.
But no, I encourage her to because we get into a whole bunch of that, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, what I wanted to get into with you, because you brought it up before when I mentioned who's going to say the line about Disney, you brought up Christian McCaffrey, and that brings me to something I want to ask you. What kind of impact do you think he's going to have on this game? And by impact, I mean, I want you to give me over-under as well. I'm going to set the over-under 1.5 touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey. Where does he fall? Tell me what you see out of this San Fran run game.
I'm going to say over 150 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns.
So you're going over on the 1.5.
I'm taking the over on the 1.5, and I think he definitely breaks 150 all-purpose yards. The Chiefs have not had to play a weapon like him coming out of the backfield.
They just played Lamar Jackson.
But I'm talking an actual run. Like Lamar Jackson, you know what the worst part is? I'm going to say Lamar Jackson's not going to come out of the backfield and catch a swing pass, but he did catch a pass in the game.
He can do it all.
So, I mean,
and I really for him.
I really can't, say that one. But overall, no, I don't think the Chiefs' defense got against a guy like him. And the problem is the way San Francisco runs their offense and the other weapons that they have.
The way that Kyle Shanahan ran the Atlanta offense when they had a 28-3 lead.
Look, all I'm saying is 4 years ago, if Jimmy Garoppolo throws a deep ball a little bit better, San Francisco beats them in that game.
And now Brock Purdy's got that better arm?
I mean, from what you saw to Jimmy G as a starter for San Fran and what you've seen out of Brock Purdy so far, who would you rather have playing in this game?
They're all winning, though. Like, that's the difference. Like, they're all playing well. So, is what, that'd be...
Look, I think Brock Purdy, like, there's been all this talk about him being a game manager. Has he broken that? Blah, 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 whatever. If there's any game where he needs to be a game manager, it is this game. Just don't make the mistake.
Well, no, what they have to do is just feed McCaffrey and keep Mahomes off the field. Because if I'm Mahomes, I'm actually running the same kind of style they're going to run. Because believe it or not, San Fran is very, very, very susceptible to the outside run. And if I'm them, I'm pounding Pacheco outside all day. All day. And then I'm bringing in McKinnon and I'm throwing swing passes outside all day. All day. And I'm keeping Purdy and I'm keeping McCaffrey off the field.
Oh yeah,
that's my game plan, because if you look at it, that's what Detroit got away from in the second half of the game. Mm-hmm. That's what some of these other teams get away from when they play. You have to lean into it because they can be beat, and they can be beat with the run game. And if you can do that, you can control the clock. And if you can control the clock and keep weapons like McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle off the field, it's a recipe for winning. I don't know.
No, it is, and I think that's why the Super Bowl is going to be a very fast game when it comes down to the clock ticking away. I really, really do. This is going to be a game where both offenses are going to rely heavily on the run, play action passing, short, smart passes, and that. Look, when it comes down to looking at this game, right? I think if you were going to go through this roster. Right. The one position that Kansas City is leaps and bounds better than San Francisco, it's the quarterback position. I think every other place on these rosters, you could say 1-2 in either direction. I don't.
So you're only giving quarterback
as the dominant favorite.
No. This is where I would disagree because I think another dominant favorite, until he shows me otherwise, Andy Reid is a dominant favorite over Kyle Shanahan.
I mean, now
how many times did he have to do it with the Eagles? How many times did he have to go to the championship game with the Eagles? How many times now has he done it with Kansas City? He hasn't just done it with one franchise, he's done it with two. He's done it with multiple quarterbacks. He's done it, well, he did it with Alex Smith. He's done it with Patrick Mahomes. He can do it with almost anybody you put in front of him. You can't tell me that he isn't a step above Kyle Shanahan.
Is he going to be on the field?
He matters.
My
coaching matters in this game.
Oh, I completely agree with that. But my statement was, if I was going to look at these rosters, top to bottom, Andy Reid's not on the depth chart. Kyle Shanahan's not on the depth chart. I'm talking strictly the guys that are going to be in between the lines hitting each other. Coaching, yes. But I'm just saying, my statement was based off of the roster. If you want to go. And I do think...
No. But again, I'm going to disagree with you because you can't tell me, and I'm sorry that to say this, and you may flat out disagree, but I'm putting Kelsey one step above Kittle. Kelsey's a Taylor Swift short of where Kittle's a Taylor Swift short of where Kelsey is. I'm sorry. He is the best tight end in football. He may go down as the greatest tight end in football history, which I think it's kind of crazy that... Because they had Tony Gonzalez for a while, too. I mean, they produce good tight ends there is what I'm going to say. But I'm just saying, might go down as the greatest tight end of all time. Kittle, not in that conversation yet. And until he is, I'm putting Kelsey. So now not only do you have the number one position in all of football, and some would argue all of sports, ahead of the curve in Mahomes. And then you take another guy who is a first ballot Hall of Famer, surefire, one of the top 5 greatest right now if he walked away. Probably maybe even top 2 or 3, maybe number 1 in some people's eyes right now if he were to walk away. He's breaking Jerry Rice type records. He is a difference maker, and I know Kittle is great, but he's not Kelsey great yet. And until he gets up on that level, I'm sorry, he's just not there. So I'm gonna argue with you on that position as well.
I see, and I would definitely agree that Kelsey's better than Kittle, but I wouldn't say that he's a Taylor Swift better than Kittle. I just wouldn't. Right now, I just would not do it. He looks a little slower. His route running is impeccable. His ability to find holes in the zone, unbelievable. His ability to find the end zone, his ability to non-verbally communicate with Patrick Mahomes is it reminds me of how Brady used to be with Gronk or even Edelman or like some of the, those guys where like Brady just always knew that if the play didn't work in any other spot, that those guys were going to be there. And Mahomes has that with Kelsey. He knows he can go through, read 1, 2, 3. Even if Kelsey was supposed to be read 1, make Kelsey read 4 because Kelsey's going to be where he needs him to be. So I will completely agree that Kelsey is better than Kittle. If you were going to ask me if I was going to start a franchise and I had to be worried about just this year, I would definitely take Kelsey. But overall, when it comes down to athleticism and
are they playing football or are they playing athleticism?
Oh, fuck you. But no, seriously, I agree. Kelsey is definitely better than Kittle. But like offensive line wise, I'd put them pretty much right there with each other. I think
so now we got to push.
I mean, I'd probably lean a little more San Francisco because Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman on either roster. I don't think you can argue with me on that.
I'd have to look it up. I believe he's a Bama guy.
That I don't know.
Roll Tide.
I only say Roll Tide for Eric. College football, I just never been my thing. But offensive line, I'm going more San Francisco over Kansas City. Backfield, Pacheco's really good. Like Pacheco's Kittle, McCaffrey's Kelsey.
Again, a step above. I'm willing to say McCaffrey's a step above Pacheco.
So backfield, I'm taking San Francisco. Now wide receiving core, that's not even a conversation. That's not even.
Rice has come on as a number one. I don't care what you say. He has stepped up big time.
Okay, so
second half of the year.
So Rashid Rice and Valdez Scantling, or Ayuk and Samuel. It's not even that's not even a conversation. They're better, but they're not far apart.
No, they're pretty far apart. No, I agree with you. I'm going to give it to you. I was just bullshitting you for a minute there. No. Debo, those guys are better than. But I will say Rashid Rice has had a really good
future ahead of him if he continues to do. But if Kansas City dresses Tony, then their wide receiving core takes a dip even more.
If they dress Tony, then I throw in the towel. They're like. He just needs to go away.
He will cost them.
He came out the other day and said something stupid, didn't he?
Yeah,
about if I'd be number one receiver if you threw me the ball or something.
Yeah, they asked him on Radio Row. And they're like, do you think you're number one wide receiver? And he's like, if I got the ball, like, bro. You've gotten the ball.
I'd bench him automatically. Otherwise he's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna have a bad drop at the wrong time. He's gonna fumble at the wrong time. He's a walking calamity. I wouldn't go anywhere near him in this big game. I wouldn't even use him as a decoy. He could be a cheerleader on the sideline for all I care. He should be on the pine. And this, yes, I might sound like a bitter Giant fan, but I don't care. He's hot garbage.
You go back to week 1 against Detroit. He basically is the sole reason Kansas City lost that game. He had 4 drops, including a drop that would have put them in field goal range to kick the game-winning field goal. Like, literally the sole reason, basically, that they lost that game. Bro, you're lucky if you're a number 4 wide receiver at this point in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have the athleticism, right? But we're not playing athleticism. We're playing football, as Eric chose to point out before. And like you've seen his footwork. I mean, but what's crazy is if you go back a year ago to that Super Bowl where they beat the Eagles, his punt return is basically what set up the game-winning score. So it's like the kid has shown he has some talent, but his mental's not there. His ability to, he does not understand the fact that your athleticism is not going to make you successful in this league.
No, not at all.
It's just not. It's not middle school. It's not Pee-wee. It's not high school. It's not even college. Every person that's on that field with you in some form or fashion is just as good as you. So you have to perfect your craft, and that's the mental aspect. And you look at the best wide receivers, their ability to run routes is what makes them the best. They're not all extremely fast. Like, Tyreek Hill's a freak of nature, Waddle's a freak of nature. But you look at Justin Jefferson, yeah, he's fast, but he's not even close to the fastest guy in the league at wide receiver, but he runs such crisp routes. Don't matter. So but wide receiver, San Francisco, right? So now we cover our offensive line. So we've got 1 for Kansas City, 2 for Kansas City with Kelsey and Mahomes, right?
Yep.
Then we've got running back, wide receiver, and offensive line for San Francisco. So we're saying 3-2, right? So then you get the defense. Defensive line-wise, I don't know. I feel like I'd put him basically in the same category.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't, all right, Bosa, Chris Jones. I mean, I would probably take Chris Jones over Bosa, but then Chris Young or Chase Young, right? And then the other, the rookie that Kansas City had, he tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game after that big forced fumble against Lamar, right? Like, so one of their best big pass rushers is done, right? So now, if you want to go to coaching, Spags, I'm taking him as my defense coordinator between the two teams. Right, like if 100%. If you want to go back to coaching, right?
But again, because he's a guy that's not only proven it and done it with Kansas City, he did it with the Giants. He did it. He was, I believe, the defensive coordinator when they beat the undefeated Patriots team. Back I think when they won both Super Bowls, he was there as their D coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. So he is an unbelievable schemer. He's a guy who we've agreed before that he's just a better defensive coach than he is a head coach. And I think he's going to have something ready for this team. I think he's going to find a way to. Again, they have so many weapons. I agree with that with San Fran that you can't take them all away. But if I'm Kansas City, I'm taking McCaffrey away and I'm putting the ball in Purdy's hands. I want to know what Purdy can do under pressure without, all have is, the underneath pass maybe with McCaffrey. But if they can find a way to take that away, if they can find a way to take McCaffrey out of this game and leave it in just Purdy's hands, I don't think that's a good recipe for San Fran.
And the funny thing is, if he's talking about taking McCaffrey out of the game, like it's not about the touches, right? He's gonna get the touches. What it is tackling him. Don't let him break that first tackle because that's where he does his damage against any team that they play. Is when he's the most dangerous is when he can break that first tackle. If you can shore him up or at least hold him while your support comes to take him down, then you got a great chance. But like I said, so defensive line, I think we basically say a draw, maybe slightly leaning towards San Francisco. But Chris Jones to me is that good that I really feel like it's a draw. Linebacking core, probably going to lean more towards San Francisco. Greenlaw, Fred Warner. Like, I think when I look at those linebacking cores, and I don't even know if Bolton's playing. And Bolton's arguably their best linebacker. Then you look at the secondary, probably leaning slightly towards Kansas City. Not by much, but probably a little bit. Not by much, but probably a little bit. San Francisco's secondary capitalizes on their front four pressure and the fact that their linebackers are so great at coverage. That's where their secondary benefits from. Kansas City's secondary actually, they'll go man-to-man with you with Spags defense, and they can lock you up on their good days. So I think when you overall, that's why, like, it's just these are some really well-matched teams.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, like you said, game plan-wise, these teams are going to try and keep the other team's offense off the field. But defensively, both teams are going to have the ability to force some 3-and-outs. And when that happens, you can't keep an offense off the field when they're when your offense isn't doing their part. So it's going to be a very interesting game. And as you said, this could boil down to who's the better coach, right? And if it does, then I do agree that I think you see Kansas City walk out with another Super Bowl. But I genuinely just believe it's San Francisco's turn. I think that they've just been so close for the last 5 years, if you include this year. And as a Cowboys fan, I really don't want to see them win. I don't want to hear my 49er fan friends be like, oh, well, now we got 6 with Pittsburgh and New England, and you're still chilling with 5. Like, happy 30-year anniversary bullshit. Like, I don't want to hear all that crap. But I do have some really good friends that are Niner fans. And my one good friend, his brother, who passed away about a month and a half, 2 months ago, he was a diehard 49ers fan. So his brother, who is ironically a Steelers fan, and has spent a nice amount of time getting to rub it in his brother's face that his team has more rings. He's obviously pulling for pulling for San Francisco. So I'm very torn on how I emotionally feel.
I really like San Fran as an organization. I think they're a classy organization. I liked Montana. I was a big fan of Rice growing up. I can remember more of the obviously I don't remember a lot of the Super Bowls from the 80s with Montana. I've only seen the highlights, but I do remember the Super Bowl that they won with Steve Young. I like Steve Young. I think he's very insightful. I like to listen to him whenever I get a chance to hear him. I have a lot of respect for the organization. So I don't hate on them. I don't think they're, a garbage team. I think they deserve to be there. I think they do things the right way. I think that they're immensely talented on both sides of the ball when you got guys like Bosa and Samuel and Ayuk. We went through the list already. But there's just something to be said about the pedigree and the run that Kansas City is on. And when you look at it, the biggest aspects of this game, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, those guys, the two most key figures are guys that, it's on the same team. And I look at that and I think that that's just too much to overcome. Like, yes, McCaffrey's great. Yes, they have a ton of talent. Yes, Shanahan's been close before, but it's just not the same. And I think until somebody knocks them off the mountain, they're still at the top of it and Chiefs of the Kingdom. So
Joe Burrow being out this having the year he had really helped Kansas City because they outside of Burrow, the only person to eliminate Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid from the playoffs is Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like,
eventually, guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen will probably do it. Like I said, we've seen it for years when it was Brady, and then Manning finally got over it. You'll see it eventually. But it may take a while.
Yeah.
And because, right now, he's not even 30 yet, Mahomes, right?
28 years
28.
old.
He's going to be at least in his prime for another 4 years. I think that this team, again, it depends on, is Kittle going to stay around for another, or not Kittle, is Kelsey going to stay around for another 4 years? I don't know. But you know what? They're here, they're now, and they want to win another one. They're not complacent. See, this is a team that, to me, a lot of teams win. And the one thing that I could say about Mahomes, I brought it up last week as well, but Mahomes is a lot, and Reid are a lot like Belichick and Brady in the way that they're not satisfied with just one. They're not happy to win the ring and then just take their foot off the gas and be like, I could take it easy this season. They're coming out just as hard, just as much fire, coaching up even more young kids. To replacing guys like Tyreek Hill is immensely hard to do.
And think about it. They got rid of Tyreek Hill and may win back-to-back Super Bowls after doing it.
That just goes to show you the level that these guys are on. And until somebody takes them off of that pedestal, until somebody knocks them off of that mountain, I can't go against them. And then when you add the overwhelming positivity of the Swifties and the amount of money that it could make the NFL and make it.
Here comes the tinfoil hat.
It's not a tinfoil hat though, dude. Follow the money. We talked about this by the end of the year, by the end of the season, had made the NFL, their relationship, between the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs, $331 million. That's tangible. That's factual. Like, that's not me just spewing Taylor Swift tinfoil hat theories. So you're telling me that if she were to be there and they were to win the Super Bowl and you can get happy pictures of Taylor Swift jumping around and every little girl 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old in their house jumping around in their Chiefs jerseys or their Chiefs outfits watching Taylor Swift, would they rather see Taylor Swift upset and crying, or would they rather see Taylor Swift happy and joyful? What makes the NFL more money? A happy, joyful T Swift and the Swifties. And that's why, and plus you grow an entire new generation of fans. Every one of those girls is going to fall in love with the sport because of this. Because they're going to spend their time watching this game and they're going to remember it and they're going to remember Swift and they're going to remember. It's going to be tangible. It's going to create an entire new fan base, which the NFL is always looking to do. And they just found it without having to go to Europe to find it. They just found a whole new fan base of fans they never knew existed or had before that they're going to gain.
So speaking on that real quick, got to shout out all women in sports. Today is actually National Women in Sports Day. So the fact that you mentioned that reminded me of that. So shout out to all the women in sports. I mean, on the back end of things, the women that play professional sports, the women that play college sports, high school sports, executive areas, offices, all that. So, I didn't even remember. I saw it earlier in the day, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah. So shout out.
I didn't know it was a thing until right now.
I mean, that's definitely a lot of money right there for the NFL. I won't argue with that, but I'm going to stick with it. And I want to make sure I mention this because I said it earlier that I thought you might have this click in your head, but then I realized No, we got to pick the championship games together. I wasn't here to recap them with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, with me picking San Francisco, I have officially picked against Kansas City every single round of the playoffs. I picked Miami. I picked Buffalo. I picked Baltimore. So, if the Niners lose, 49er fans, you can blame me. Because I have picked against Kansas City every round, and they've proven me wrong every single round. So, yeah, if they lose, but really quick, we touched on prop bets, right? We've been talking about the game. Did you hear what they're charging for the private suites?
No, but I'm very interested to find out.
Take a guess.
Sweet. I'm gonna say
like the private suites. Apparently. Oh no. I don't know. Were they talking about Allegiant Stadium? They might have been talking about Allegiant Stadium. There's
a little booth down there by the field.
No. The private suites, the ones that like Kelsey jumped at against. I'm
gonna say 50,000.
Okay. No. Like as far off as you felt I was with the roster conversation and all that, you're even. Oh no. As far off as I was with the green Gatorade.
Okay. All right. So then let me readjust my guess here, and I'm gonna go 400,000.
Right now, they are going for $2.1 million a suite.
Damn. Who can listen? I know people out there got disposable money, but who has it to spend on a 4-hour event? Like, I get spending $2.1 million, but like, you want to buy a private island for that amount? Like you don't need
what?
What?
What? When I heard that, dude, I shit you not, I almost fell over. I'm like, there's no freaking way. There is no way. Even if I had that money, I am a frugal human being. I would rather spend a couple grand and sit in the normal seats with everybody else than give you unless there is a professional masseuse in that room. I'm getting hand-rolled Cuban cigars, even though they're illegal.
Goodell's stopping in to shake your hand.
Yeah, like I get an autographed jersey from the Super Bowl MVP. Like, if you're including all these types of things, game worn autographed jersey. Like,
but
I'm not talking
like if you're spending the amount of money for one of those suites, which, by the way, I feel like I know one of the guys who has one of those suites, because I was talking with somebody recently who says they're going out to the game and going to a suite. He's going to be Mark Rubin's suite. I don't know if you know Mark Rubin, but Fanatics. Yeah, he's got lots of monies, so he'll have one of those.
Yeah. For
$2.1 million. I may try to link up with that guy and just see how it went, because I think it's going to be amazing. But
you got to at least find out if they have bathrooms in the suites, because I swear I heard it on the radio that they don't have bathrooms in the suites at Allegiant Stadium.
How do you not have bathrooms in the suites?
Apparently, they were. I am almost 100% confident they were talking about Allegiant Stadium.
So
but
you got to leave the suite. You got to leave the suite. To the public John
and pee with everybody else.
Wow.
Pee with everybody else. Like,
are you kidding me? $2.1 million. I should be able to.
Somebody should be wiping my ass.
Yeah.
Or at least put a bidet in there. Let me clean that mother. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. That's wild. But $2.1 million is a shocker, because that is. You might as well buy a 30-second commercial too while you're at it.
That is astronomical. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
How many suites do they have now is the question.
Let's look that up real quick.
Because, I mean, if you figure 2.1, and is that aftermarket? No, that's got to be like, because you're not aftermarketing a suite.
Let's make sure I got the
bathrooms?
the right number. How expensive is a Super Bowl?
I think you're probably right with the 2.1 million, but that to me is just an astronomical number. I mean, that is...
Boom.
Yeah,
I'm low.
2.5.
The Google search gives us 2.5 million. But hold on. tickets to Super Bowl and average almost $6,000. Suites at Allegiant Stadium range from 1.4 to 2.5 million for an owner's club suite.
20 suite tickets.
Tickets, 2 parking passes, a food and beverage package. That are you like really? Like really? All right, I gotta see this now. Do this suites in Allegiant. Oh, I gotta make sure I spell it the right way. Sorry, everybody. Stadium. Oh, why wouldn't it just put it there? I thought that would be something people would look up.
Because they'd have to. Like, to me, that's just such a wild thing to not have like, what's the point in having a luxury suite then if I gotta go, tinkle with everybody else?
Okay, yeah, in suite restrooms. Okay. VIP entrances, catering, premium beverages.
Yeah, they had to. That had to be wild.
So because that to
now,
me,
how many suites are there total? Because if you're, again, 2.5 million, I'm going to say there's got to be, 40 suites around that stadium?
How many suites in Allegiant Stadium? All right, let's see here. Half toilets. 128 suites.
What?
At 2.5. All right, even if we did the 1.4, right? Even on the low end, 1.4, you're talking almost $200 million
in the suites. What?
Now, look,
and that's not including their TV money. That's not including their advertising money. That's not including all the money from all the other nonsense all around the road from the Swifties and everything. The amount of money this Super Bowl is going to probably set records then for the NFL because I don't know how you make more money than you're going to make this Super Bowl.
And do you remember like 10 years ago when they threatened to suspend or fine Tony Romo for hosting a fantasy football conference in Vegas? Like Tony Romo couldn't even do that, and now 10 years later, here we are with a Super Bowl charging around $2 million a suite. So that's probably where they got the 2.1. That's probably like on average, like when you take the range of what each suite costs. So that's probably where the 2.1 came from. It's probably that's probably the average cost of the suite.
But even still, like
it's absurd. But I mean, could you imagine though to be able to just say, I'm gonna spend and keep in mind, right? You got to get there too.
Well,
right?
Say, even if you take 20 of your closest friends, that's what, $100,000 a friend?
Yeah. Yeah. And let's be honest, if you got money like that, you really want to cram 20 people inside that damn thing?
No, but I'll bet you there's 120 rich enough people around the world that are going to be dopey enough to spend that money.
Oh, 100. I bet you there's at least 1 or 2 people that are going to buy multiple suites. There are people out there with that kind of stupid money.
Think Taylor Swift buys multiple suites? You think she treats the Kelsey family and the Mahomes family?
I honestly, could you, like, after her experience with Jason Kelsey in the conference championship, could you imagine she'd be like, that's your suite. We're going to be over here. like, could you imagine like a guy's suite, right? Like it's like guys' night out, girls' night out. They just each get their own. And Taylor Swift is like, oh, you know what? Here, I'm just going to use my card on my phone because I have that kind of money. Like,
oh yeah.
But I heard that one. I thought that was worth throwing out there. But yeah, like I said, man, I thought not to go back all the way, but I definitely thought you were going to bust my chops on picking against the Chiefs every single round. I really thought you were going to have that click in your head when I picked San Francisco and be like, have you not learned?
No, but you haven't learned, though. That's the thing is you keep betting against them. Oh, they can't win on the road. Oh, they can't win 2 on the road. Oh, they can't beat the 1 and 2 seed. Oh, you keep doubting them, and Mahomes and Reed just keep winning. They have that fire. They have it with T Swift up in the booth. Kelsey's going to have more fire in that belly than ever. And I just look at this as it's going to come down to the small things. And the small things that Patrick Mahomes is going to do and the small adjustments Andy Reid is going to make and Spagnuolo is going to make are going to make the difference in this game. And that's why I am going with San Fran. Or not San Fran. I'm going with Kansas City.
He said it. Y'all heard it.
Kansas City.
I'm stopping the recording, cutting the last 5 seconds, and it's just going to be San Fran and be like,
no.
Rap.
Kansas City. That being said, though, I don't think they run away with it completely. The last time they played in the Super Bowl, I think they won. Or they won by I think 11. was the total. So I don't think they win last year. I think they won by 11. I could be wrong. But yeah, so I look at it. I think it's going to be a 1-score game. I don't think it's going to be a 2-score game. Yeah, so this was, yes, from 2020.
Yeah, because it's wow, I forgot. Chiefs outscored them 21-0 in the fourth.
I just think, again, it's going to be those little adjustments. So I'm going to call the score slightly different. I'm going to say 31-23.
Give me 27-21. I think these defenses show up early, and the majority of the points come in the second and quarter and second half. So I think the first quarter is going to move fast. I think you're going to see a lot of runs, couple first downs, some punts, maybe 2 or 3 punts, and then once the nerves settle and they get back to knowing, hey, it's the same damn game we've played our entire lives, like. Let's go out there and just play some damn football. So, but yeah, give me San Fran 27-21.
All right.
But I think it'll be a good game. And
who's the MVP? You're going McCaffrey? Is that what I'm guessing?
Yep. I'm going Christian McCaffrey.
I'm going MVP Mahomes. But I don't think he's going to say the Disney World line. I think they're going to give it to Kelsey.
I mean, Disney's dream would have Kelsey be able to say it with her.
With Taylor Swift there giving him a hug.
We're going to Disney. And all these people talking like, is she going to be able to make the game?
Oh, no, she's making it easy. She makes it with time to spare. She can take a nap.
Hell out of here. You think she's not going to be at this game? Like, people are out of their damn mind if they don't think she's going to be at this game.
It's already been mathematically proven multiple times that because of the time difference of Tokyo.
She gains 13 hours or something
exactly.
like that.
She's going to show up. She can either sleep on the plane, or if she can't, because, listen, I have trouble sleeping on planes myself, so I get it. If she can't.
Eric, you realize... even if you were sitting in first class, you're sitting on a plane doesn't come close to what her being on a plane is like.
True. But I can sympathize if she can't sleep on the plane. She'll have enough time to catch a nap before she's got to go to the stadium.
Yeah, no, she'll be okay. Coming off winning a Grammy, performing out in Tokyo. She's out there performing, right? And then come back. And I did love Kelsey's line when they asked her, how'd you feel about her winning a Grammy? He's like, I told her I had to bring some hardware home too. So I mean, look, they're a cute little couple. I mean, good for them. But I mean, I think San Francisco just takes it home.
All right. Well, listen, you could die on that hill all you want, but I'm gonna say that. You're flat out wrong, my friend, and you're going to be proven wrong for a third time betting against Kansas City.
Fourth time, because they had to play a wild card game. Fourth time betting against
Kansas City this playoffs. Thank God you don't bet on FanDuel or DraftKings, because Amanda'd be looking at you sideways, going, "Where'd all the money go?" That's exactly what would happen. But, so the only thing we didn't come up with so far is the Die on the Hill question of the week. And are we just going to go with the game?
I mean, I feel like since we actually have the balls to put a score out there, but I think it's only appropriate that if we're going to die on the hill of the scores and our predictions, I think it's only appropriate that there's some type of wager so that we're dying on a hill. So, I think we give it a chance to reach out to some of our listeners that we know actually listen to the podcast and give them the opportunity to give us some ideas for our wager.
Okay.
And then when we come back next week to recap the game, we'll roll out what the wager was, and it's got to be something that people can hear. So, like, you ever see that?
I gotta do the whole show just like this.
I really thought about that one, but I think the problem with that is neither one of us would probably get through the show if we did the whole show like that. I just don't.
Would you rather this?
Oh my God, no, because I wouldn't get through the whole show if you did that either. But I think we give people. But I was gonna say, you ever see? It's like that one challenge that couples do. They fill their mouth with water and they slap each other with a tortilla.
I've seen it. I've never done it.
Okay. So, like, for an example, whoever...
So, loser gets slapped in the face with a tortilla?
Yeah, because you're not going to half-ass it, right? You're not going to pussyfoot the slap. So, the mics are going to pick up on the contact that is made. And I think that...
What is the context of the water?
No water in the mouth. You're just taking a slap from a tortilla wrap.
All right, I'll bet you a slap from a tortilla wrap on this game.
Right, so
I'll die on that hill.
So
let's go KC.
So is that we won't even get any input?
Yeah, I just think your silly idea is perfect.
That.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're shaking on this. Handshake is confirmed. It's recorded. So we have
Loser
witnesses.
Gets slapped in the face with a tortilla next Wednesday.
Oh man, as Eric says,
I'm turning that pretty little dome into a burrito.
As Eric says to start the show, it is good to be back. I'm down. I'm for it. San Fran, and just to be clear, right? It's whatever team wins. We're not. Like I'm not holding you to some like. Oh, well, like, you didn't get the score right, so you can't slap me. None of that nonsense.
None of that nonsense.
Kansas City wins, I get slapped.
Doesn't matter if it's regulation or overtime.
Does not matter. Score does not matter. We put our scores out there because that's our hill that we'll die on.
And which, by the way, real quick, before we end the show, I can't believe that Kansas City is still a 2.5-point underdog. Like, that to me is wild. That the defending champions... Where San Fran has struggled each of the last 2 weeks against Green Bay and Detroit are coming in, and it stayed steady. At one point, it dropped to a point, but then it went back up to 2.5, and they're saying that all the smart money is on San Fran. They're saying all the bookie money, everything is on San Fran. But I don't know if that's true. And to me, I look at this line, and I something's off with it, because the defending champs... to me, shouldn't be a 2.5-point underdog to a team who's looked like they've struggled the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or the last, 2 games they played.
Yeah, nah.
So what do you think of the point spread? Because that's the only thing I didn't bring up yet. I mean, over-under is 47.5. I think you went just over there at 48, 27, 21. I went over as well. So we have the over. But I'm wondering where you stand, because knowing Kansas City's a 2.5-point favorite, would that sway... Yeah, I know... Doesn't affect our bet. We're still slapping each other with tortillas next week. But would the 2.5 points sway you if you say you were betting on DraftKings to look at it and say, man, this team's an underdog and I can get them? I get points with the defending champs?
Yeah, I mean, the betting, the mental side, just strictly thinking betting, like it's hard to look at Kansas City and not say, why would I not take them getting points, right? Because, again, going back to breaking down the roster, to me, this is basically a coin flip game. So if that's the case, then, like, what's the two? Like, why wouldn't you make that bet? So, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. But, like, I've never really, like, to me, the home team gets 3 points. Well, this is a neutral field, right? So you're even there. So you're basically saying either Kansas City's going to lose by 2 or win by 3, right? Like, or no, the other way around, right? This is why I don't gamble. If that wasn't just made it very obvious for everybody out there. But like when you look at like, so in other words, a field goal can swing the game. Just like in real life, there's a very good chance a field goal is going to determine who wins this game. There's a very good chance with how evenly matched these teams are. So I get it, but I wouldn't bet on it either way. Because I just don't gamble. But I get where you're coming from and the point you're making. That's for sure.
All right. Well, I'm dying on the hill. If you give me a champion, recent champion as last year's champion, back in the title game, you're going to give me points, I'm taking them. And I'm going to die on that hill every time.
Yeah, I can respect that. That's for sure.
All right, my friend. Till next time, where can people find you?
I can't believe we agreed to slap somebody in the face with a tortilla. No, you can't find me at that. That's not a handle of mine. At David Hastings 23 on X. Oh man, I still want to say Twitter. On X. D Hastings 23 on Instagram. And don't waste your time on Facebook. And I don't do TikTok. And what the hell?
Not yet, anyway. Maybe Die on This Hill will someday. Who knows?
I mean, our first TikTok getting slapped in the face by a tortilla, we'd be a few years late. But the people that know would probably save that to their phone and watch it on loop and play it at our birthday parties and God knows what else.
Right? And you can find me on X at The Living Legend. On YouTube, you can find us at Die on This Hill, no spaces, or search by episode name as well. Available Google, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Look for us everywhere. Comment, like, subscribe.
I gotta be honest. I really think
join the fun.
I really think we should ask Mike. I know he's stepping away to do what he's got to do. I really think we should ask Mike to do his ending. Like, rate, subscribe, because like when
do all the things.
Like when he did that the first time, I'm like, are you serious, bro? Like we're trying to actually encourage people. And now every time he does it, I just laugh hysterically. So I might have to ask him, like, bro, can you just record this and send it over to me so that we can just put it into Eric's system and just fucking
just use it every week,
just every single week. Because
he's invited on, by the way. He just, I mean, we haven't talked in a while. I mean,
I'm sorry, that's an invite that would have to come from you. You know how he is.
We'll worry about that at a future date. But either way, yeah, future date. But till then, join us next time. And come and die on this hill.
I'm slapping Eric with a tortilla.
Turning you
what
into a burrito.
What the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap.